Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today our topic of discussion is isolation and its types. Students, what does isolation means in the field of microbiology? Isolation is defined as separation of an infected patient from other members of the society to prevent the spread of communicable disease is called isolation. I repeat, isolation is defined as separation of an infected patient from other members of the society to prevent the spread of the disease is called isolation. Now, there are 7 different types of isolation. Students, these 7 different types of isolation, they are acquired according to the mode of transmission of the disease. Or you can say that hospital staff, including doctors, nurses and paramedical staff, they isolate the patient depending upon the type of transmission of disease. So there are 7 different types of isolation. Number 1, strict isolation. Number 2, respiratory isolation. Number 3, protective isolation. Number 4, enteric isolation. Number 5, wound and skin isolation. Number 6, blood isolation. And number 7, discharge isolation. Okay, these 7 different types of isolation along with their clinical examples. We will discuss it now later. G students, now we continue our discussion on types of isolation. Strict isolation. Students, strict isolation is carried out in those diseased patients in which the route of transmission of disease is through direct contact and airborne routes. It means those diseases which spread through contact or airborne routes of transmission, they require strict isolation. For example, chickenpox, rabies. Second one is respiratory isolation. Students, this type of isolation is required in those diseases which spread through droplets, respiratory droplets. For example, tuberculosis, influenza. Okay. Now, third type of isolation is protective isolation. Students, protective isolation is acquired in those cases where either the patient or the staff dealing with the patient has impaired body resistance. I repeat, if the patient has impaired resistance, decreased resistance, then protective isolation is carried out. For example, leukemia patients. If leukemia patient is admitted in the ward for any type of treatment, protective isolation is carried out. Now, other types of isolation include enteric isolation. Students, enteric isolation is carried out in those diseases which spread through fecal oral route, which have oral route of transmission. For example, hepatitis, hepatitis A and E, dysentery. Okay. Now wound and skin isolation. Wound and skin isolation. This type of isolation is carried out in those diseases which spread through wound and skin contact. For example, herpes, impetigo, these are skin diseases which spread through direct contact. Ringworm, very common in our society. So next one is blood isolation. Students, blood isolation is carried out in those diseases which spread through blood-borne routes of transmission. For example, HIV, AIDS, hepatitis B and C. Okay. Now last one is discharge isolation. Students, this type of isolation is carried out in those diseases which spread through any body discharge. For example, conjunctivitis, syphilis. Okay, these are the examples of isolation and their clinical examples. Now students, precautions. What precautions should be carried out in isolations? Precautions. Students, always there are two types of precautions in any type of isolation. Number one, universal or standard precautions. And number two, transmission based. Transmission based precautions. Students, transmission based precautions, they include contact transmission, droplet transmission, and number third, airborne transmission. Okay students, I repeat, there are two types of precautions which are carried out in any case of isolation: universal or standard precautions. Next, transmission based precautions. In transmission based precautions, we have contact transmission, droplet transmission, and number third, airborne transmission. Students, I have told you two types of precautions: universal or we can say standard precautions, and transmission based precautions. Students, universal and standard precautions, they include PPEs. PPE. PPE stands for personal protective equipment. use of PPE is mandatory in universal precautions. Personal protective equipment. These include number 1, face mask, number 2, protective gloves, number 3, protective goggles, number 4, hair cap, and number 5, use of white coat. These 5 items are called personal protective equipment. Every medical personnel, while dealing with the patient, should adopt these universal precautions. Use of PPE. Number 2nd precaution is hand washing. Student, hand washing is a universal precaution. Number 3rd, social distancing, as we have seen in COVID-19 pandemics. Okay, these are universal or standard precautions. Transmission based precautions include contact transmission. Contact transmission, one should avoid direct skin contact with the infected persons, as we see in cases of skin diseases, scabies, ringworms. Okay, droplet transmission. Patients suffering from respiratory droplet nuclei infection, they must avoid spitting in the public, sneezing, coughing in the public, as we see in pulmonary tuberculosis, COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, contact transmission, I have told you, airborne transmission. Again, coughing should be avoided, spitting should be avoided, sneezing should be avoided. These are airborne transmissions. Students, I have told you very briefly about precautions. Examiner may ask you from another twist. For example, what are the precautions which ward in charge nurse must adopt in dealing with isolation? Or there is another twist in this topic. For example, examiner may ask you, write down the responsibilities of a nurse in isolation. Then you have to write all these types of precautions in detail and always add one sentence that these precautions are adopted on the basis of types of isolation as well as routes of transmission of disease. Thank you, students. Allah Hafiz.